Happy Valentine's Day. Or maybe by the end of this, we'll be calling it National High Fructose Corn Syrup Awareness Day.
I think that's a fair prediction.
Look, whether you're a big romantic or you think the whole thing is a greeting card conspiracy, you just can't escape the chocolate today. It's everywhere.
It really is.
And I'd normally quote Mary Poppins, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. But looking at this massive stack of research we have, I have to ask a darker question.
Which is?
What if the sugar is the problem?
It's a valid question. And honestly, looking at this literature survey, Mary Poppins might have been guilty of some serious medical malpractice.
That is a bold start. Welcome, everyone, to the Deep Dive Lab. Today, we're not just looking at one headline. We are analyzing an exhaustive literature survey. I mean, we've got decades of research here.
Global guidelines from the WHO, the American Heart Association, metabolic ward studies, even brain scans on rats. The whole works.
And our mission is to finally answer that question that haunts every grocery aisle. Is sugar actually toxic, or is it just, misunderstood?
And to kick us off with a bit of a wow factor, the answer really isn't a simple yes or no. The big headline from all these papers is that your body discriminates.
Discriminates. How so?
We talk about carbs or sugar as this one big thing, but the liver, it tells a very different story. It turns out it processes the molecules in an apple way differently than the molecules in a soda.
Okay, let's unpack that.
Yeah.
Because I think most people, myself included, assume sugar is sugar. A molecule is a molecule, right?
Chemically, yes, but physiologically, not at all. And this is the first huge distinction in the literature, separating intrinsic sugars from free or added sugar.
Intrinsic, okay, what's that?
That's the sugar you find in whole, intact fruits and vegetables. The key word is intact.
Meaning the sugar is still locked inside the plant cells.
Exactly. It's in a matrix of fiber, and the survey is very clear. These are generally fine. You'd have to eat a truly heroic number of apples to cause any metabolic problems. The fiber slows it all down.
Right, it's like a time-release capsule, so the apple gets a pass. Who's the villain then?
The free sugars. This is what the World Health Organization is really targeting. It's any sugar added by a manufacturer, a cook, or you. But, and this is the part that trips people up, it also includes honey, syrups, and crucially, fruit juices.
Wait, hold on. Fruit juice?
Yep.
But it's got fruit in the name. It's the classic healthy breakfast drink. You're saying a glass of orange juice is in the same category as a can of soda?
In terms of free sugars, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Because when you juice the fruit, you've destroyed that matrix.
You stripped out all the fiber.
You strip the fiber, you freed the sugar from its cage. So metabolically, it hits your liver almost exactly like a cola would.
That feels like a total betrayal. The health halo on juice is just marketing.
In this context, pretty much. And that's why the official guidelines are so much stricter than most people think.
Okay, so how strict are we talking?
Well, there's a converging consensus, as the papers call it. The WHO, back in 2015, said you should limit free sugars to less than 10% of your daily calories.
10%.
But then they added a kicker. They said for additional health benefits, you should aim for less than 5%.
5%? What does that even look like in real life?
It's about 25 grams a day for an adult.
25 grams. Okay, for perspective, a standard can of soda has, what?
Usually between 39 and 40 grams.
So one single drink, and you've already blown past the ideal limit for the whole day.
Exactly. You're nearly double the target with just one can. And the American Heart Association is even tougher on kids. They say 0 added sugars under 2 and a max of 25 grams for older kids.
Everyone seems to be pointing to the same very low number.
They're all looking at the same data and basically shouting, we are eating way, way too much of this stuff.
Okay, so we have the guidelines, but I want to get to the why. A calorie is a calorie, right? If I eat too many potatoes, I gain weight. Why is sugar being treated like it's some kind of unique poison? You mentioned the liver.
Right, and this is where it gets really fascinating. This is the fructose factory. See, table sugar, or sucrose, is half glucose and half fructose.
Oh.
Glucose is, the good citizen. Every cell in your body can use it. It's regulated by insulin. It's predictable.
And fructose?
Fructose is the wild child. It goes almost exclusively to the liver, and the liver has a huge problem with it.
Oh, I love a good biological flaw. What's the issue?
It's basically a traffic control problem. When glucose gets to the liver, there's a key enzyme that acts like a traffic light. If the liver has plenty of energy, the light turns red, and glucose just moves on. It's a feedback loop.
Smart, efficient.
Very. But fructose, it completely bypasses that traffic light. It uses a different on-ramp, an enzyme called fructokinase, or KHK. And here is the wow moment from the science.
Go on.
KHK has no off switch. No negative feedback loop.
No off switch. So the liver can't just say, hey, we're full, stop sending fuel.
It cannot say stop. You drink a big soda, that fructose floods in, and the enzyme just keeps going and going, whether the liver needs energy or not.
What does that do to the cell?
It causes an energy crisis. The survey details this very clearly. This flood actually depletes the liver cell's main energy currency, ATP.
Wait, consuming energy drains energy. That sounds wrong.
In this specific reaction, yes. It's an energy-negative first step. And as the cell's energy crashes, it creates a waste product, uric acid.
Uric acid. Isn't that what causes gout?
That's the one. It also drives up blood pressure. But the worst part is what the liver does next. Because it's panicking from the energy drain, it triggers an emergency process.
Which is?
De novo lipogenesis, a fancy term for making new fat. It takes that fructose and, in a panic, turns it directly into fat.
So sugar is turning to fat inside my liver, even if I'm not eating too many total calories.
That is exactly what the mechanistic reviews show. It creates liver fat, intrahepatic triglycerides, even when you're in energy balance. You don't have to be gaining weight for your liver to be getting fatty.
That completely changes the idea of empty calories. They're not just empty, they're actively harmful.
Precisely. You can be thin on the outside, fatty on the inside. And that brings us to the most dangerous delivery system for this chaos.
Liquids.
Liquids. The liquid danger.
Okay, so why are drinks so much worse? I feel like we hear this all the time.
It's about two things: speed and satiety. We just talked about fructose flooding the liver. Well, liquid sugar is like a fire hose.
The fastest possible delivery.
Right? But then there's the satiety trap.
Is that why I can drink a giant soda and still be hungry for a full meal?
That's exactly it. The literature is unanimous on this. Liquid calories have almost zero satiety value. Your brain just doesn't register that you've consumed them.
So you don't compensate by eating less later?
You don't. You just stack those calories right on top of everything else. It's a guaranteed positive energy balance.
They're invisible calories.
And the results are pretty stark. The survey cites this huge European study, 42,000 people. Just one extra sugary drink a day raised the risk of fatty liver disease by 7%.
Only 7%? That doesn't sound like a ton.
But that's just one data point. Another study showed that just 2-3 drinks a week raised the risk by 23%. And for type 2 diabetes, the link is dose dependent.
Meaning the more you drink, the higher the risk.
Right. One serving a day increases your risk by about 25%. There's basically no safe threshold for liquid sugar found in the data. It just assaults the liver too directly.
It really makes those value meals with the giant soda look a lot more sinister.
It's the perfect storm, a delivery system our biology was never designed to handle.
Okay, speaking of storms, let's pivot to something a little lighter. Birthday parties.
Ah, yeah.
We've all seen it. The cake comes out, the kids devour it, and then it's just total chaos. The sugar rush.
The bane of every parent's existence.
But according to this deep dive, we might actually owe sugar an apology.
We do. This is one of the biggest myths that the science just completely debunks.
Really?
Yes. A meta-analysis of 16 double-blind, randomized controlled trials, that's the gold standard, found that sugar had no significant effect on kids' behavior or cognition.
No way.
Yeah.
You're telling me bouncing off the walls is a lie. I've literally seen it with my own eyes.
Well, you've seen the behavior, for sure, but the sugar isn't the cause. It's all about expectancy and context.
Placebo effect.
Essentially, yes. The kids are at a party, they're excited, there are balloons, presents, and the parents expect them to be hyper after cake, so they interpret every action through that lens. But chemically, nothing's happening.
I can hear an army of parents rolling their eyes right now. Okay, the science is the science. No sugar rush.
Yeah.
But is it addictive? Because I swear, once I start on those Valentine's chocolates, I can't stop.
Now, this is where the experts say it's complicated because humans aren't rats. But in the rat studies, the results are, frankly, startling.
What do they see?
When you give rats intermittent access to sugar, it lights up the exact same reward pathways in the brain as cocaine. Dopamine, opioids, the works.
So it is a drug then?
In rats, under those conditions, it acts like one. They binge, they show withdrawal. But, and it's a huge but, we don't sit around eating spoonfuls of pure sugar.
Unless you're Mary Poppins.
Right. We eat ultra-processed foods, sugar plus fat plus salt. The addiction is likely to that hyperpalatable combination, not just the sugar molecule itself.
So it's the whole package deal, the bliss point.
Exactly, but there is a real mental health link here. A 2024 meta-analysis connected high sugar intake to a 21% increased risk of depression.
Depression, how?
The leading theory is inflammation. All that sugar drives low-grade inflation throughout the body, and that can directly affect brain function and mood. So the sugar rush might be a myth, but the sugar crash, that might be very real.
That's heavy. So we have liver chaos, invisible calories, a link to depression. Okay, let's get to the really big ones. Heart disease and cancer. What does the survey say?
The heart disease link is one of the strongest findings here. It's really solid.
Okay, weigh it on us.
Remember that uric acid we talked about, the byproduct of the liver being overwhelmed?
The gout thing, yeah.
Well, it also directly raises your blood pressure. It causes hypertension. And the NAANS data, this huge U.S. health survey, is shocking.
How so?
It showed that people getting 17 to 21% of their calories from added sugar had a 38% higher risk of dying from cardiovascular disease.
38% higher risk of death? That's not a small number.
It is a massive number. And it's an independent risk factor. It's not just because sugar can make you gain weight. The sugar itself is actively harming your cardiovascular system.
Wow. Okay, so that's the heart. What about cancer, the old sugar feeds cancer line?
That one's more complex. The literature says it's not as simple as pouring gasoline on a fire.
So eating a candy bar doesn't instantly make a tumor grow.
No. But, and it's a big but, high sugar intake drives obesity and metabolic syndrome. And those conditions are huge drivers of several cancers: colorectal, liver, breast cancer.
So it's an indirect route. Sugar creates the environment where cancer can thrive.
That's the perfect way to put it. It's a domino effect. But there is one disease link that is absolutely 100% direct and undeniable.
Let me guess. My dentist is about to feel very smug.
Dental caries. Cavities. The WHO confirms the risk just rises and rises once you go over 10% of energy from sugar. It's a monotonic increase.
Monotonic?
It means it only goes up. There's no safe plateau. The more sugar you eat, the more your teeth decay. Period.
Okay, this has been sobering. Happy Valentine's Day, I guess.
Yeah.
We have covered so much. Let's try to boil this down into some key takeaways.
Good idea. I think there are 3 main points that really stand out.
Okay, hit me. What's number 1?
The matrix matters. Not all sugar is created equal. The sugar in a whole piece of fruit is fine. The danger is in the free sugars, the added stuff, and yes, the fruit juice.
So eat the orange, skip the orange juice. Got it. Number 2.
The liver loophole. We have to stop thinking of sugar as just calories. Fructose specifically creates this metabolic chaos in the liver, forcing it to make fat and uric acid, even if you aren't overweight.
That's the TOFI one. Thin on the outside, fat on the inside. Okay, and number 3.
The liquid danger. If you make just one change, look at what you drink. Sodas, sweet teas, juices. They are the absolute worst delivery system because they're fast-acting and have zero satiety.
So if you're going to have a treat, you should eat it, not drink it.
Absolutely. Enjoy the piece of chocolate. Just don't wash it down with a soda.
That seems like a reasonable trade-off.
Yeah, the big picture isn't to be terrified of a piece of birthday cake. It's just realizing our modern food world is flooded with these free sugars, and our biology just isn't equipped to handle it. The goal is to get back to eating more intact foods.
It's about being smarter than our environment. We're running ancient software in a very modern, sugar-coated world. Well, thank you for walking us through all this. It's definitely made me look at that heart-shaped box a little differently.
My pleasure. Knowledge is power, right? Better than a spoonful of sugar.
Touché. And thank you, everyone, for listening to The Deep Dive. If you enjoyed this, please hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more investigations coming your way.
And we promise, not all of them will ruin a holiday.
No promises.
Yeah.
But before we go, here's a final question for you to think about. We know now that liquid sugar creates unique metabolic chaos in the liver. Science is overwhelming on this. So why is a sugary drink still the default option in almost every meal deal in the country? Why is it often cheaper to buy the poison than the water? Something to chew on or maybe sip on. See you next time in the lab.